A long, long time ago, back in the old Arab lands, way before Islam, before any of the big religions we know, the real struggle, the deadliest fight, was between Arab and Persian sorcerers. This was a time when real magic was a thing, something you could learn, something you could master. A sorcerer could kill another without a sword, without any weapon at all. All it took was knowing some incantation the other guy didn't, or not knowing the counterspell to it. And that was it. You were dead. It was a time when you could summon demons for the smallest things. You just read a few words, and poof, a demon would teleport you across the land in the blink of an eye. Or you'd summon one to tear through another sorcerer's defenses, snatch his head, and drop it right at your feet. This was an age where sorcery, sorcerers, demons, and talismans, they were the ones who ran the show. They decided who lived and who died. One day in this brutal time, there was a little girl. Her name was Afsar, and she was just turning 7, just a little kid. But back then, death didn't care if you were old or young. It could snatch you up at any moment when you least expected it. Afsar was walking with her father, Asher, through a huge orchard. A massive garden, green as far as the eye could see, full of white roses and surrounded by palm trees, heavy with dates. She was holding her father's hand, but every now and then she'd let go, run off to gather roses and just breathe them in. A man, about her father's age, approached them, and with him, another little girl. Dark, wide eyes, tan skin. She had the look of the girls from Arabistan, the land of the Arabs, as the Persians called it. And by pure chance, this girl was the same age as Afsar. It was obvious her father had arranged to meet Asher here. This huge orchard, empty of any other soul, just the 4 of them. This meeting had to be important, very important, something top secret. The little girl hid behind her father, just peeking at Afsar. Her father told her, "Daja, go on, go play with Afsar. Gather some roses with her." Daja stepped out from behind her father, hesitant, shy. She went to play with Afsar, but the 2 girls just looked at each other. They went to play, but they didn't speak. How could they? They didn't even speak the same language. And as they were playing, picking flowers, Afsar heard a sudden scream from her father, Asher. She dropped the roses and ran. She ran to him only to find him drowned in his own blood. Murdered. That other man was just standing there, looking down at her as she collapsed onto her father's body, crying, shaking him. "Father, Father, wake up! Don't die! Don't leave me here!" The man stretched out his hand towards her, a hand covered in blood. Afsar woke up screaming, but it was just a dream. She was a 70-year-old woman, gasping for air, beads of sweat on her forehead. Except it wasn't just a dream. It was the memory that had haunted her, on and off, since the day her father, Asher, died. More than 60 years ago now. The scene you just heard, it was real. It wasn't just a nightmare. Afsar got out of bed and lit a stone oven in the corner of her room, trying to get warm. The night was cold. She picked up a wooden prayer bead necklace. It was special to her. The last thing she had from her father before he was murdered. A great sorcerer, betrayed and killed in Arabistan. As she warmed herself by the oven, a girl named Nazanin rushed in. "Auntie, what's wrong? I heard you scream!" Afsar remained silent. She didn't answer her, didn't even turn to look at her. She just kept staring into the fire, her fingers turning the beads over and over, her breaths deep and heavy. Nazanin put a hand on her teacher's shoulder. "The dream again, right?" Afsar removed Nazanin's hand from her shoulder and said, her voice filled with sorrow, "Who's going to change it?" "We'll get your revenge, Auntie," Nazanin said. "Soon, I promise you." Afsar smiled, a sad, bitter smile, as she turned from the fire to face Nazanin. "When we are on the land of revenge, we must be rational." Nazanin replied, "Auntie, I don't know anyone more rational than you." "The peak of reason," Afsar answered, "is the lowest degree of madness." Nazanin fell silent. "Where are your sisters?" Afsar asked. "They're all asleep, except Anmar. She hasn't returned from her visit to the sorcerer Tirasiz." Afsar's face hardened, her features twisting into anger. "What do you mean she hasn't returned? Dawn is near, and she's still not back." "I don't know," Nazanin said. "I don't know why she's this late." Afsar stood up, changed her clothes, and made for the door. Nazanin grabbed her hand. "Where are you going, Auntie? In the middle of the night?" "I'm going to Tirasiz." Afsar muttered a few words. "A teleportation talisman." In the blink of an eye, she vanished from her doorstep and reappeared in the city of Tirasis, right in front of the house of a known sorcerer named Liush. She knocked. Once, twice, 3 times. Each knock harder than the last, but there was no answer. She raised her hand to the sky, recited an incantation, and the door shattered in an instant. Afsar stormed in, heading for one of the rooms where she heard screams. She burst through the door and found Anmar tied up, half naked, her body covered in marks of torture, burns, and brands. Across the room, a group of sorcerers were laughing, obviously drunk. In the middle of them sat Liush. He raised his cup to the sky. "Welcome, great one! Welcome to my humble home! Maybe to all of Persia soon. Why not? Come, sit with us!" Afsar's voice was pure rage. "What have you done to my girl?" The group roared with laughter. One of them slurred, "We had our fun with her body, just like the agreement said." "What agreement are you talking about?" Afsar seethed. "The agreement was with Liush alone." Liush smirked. "Get out of here, old woman. Get out or we'll add you to the fun." They all laughed again. Afsar just looked at them, a look that said, "This is your last night on Earth. Your end is in my hands." She turned her back to them and started to walk out. Anmar cried out, "Please, Auntie, please don't leave me with them." As she passed by her, Afsar whispered, her voice low and cold, "Get ready to run." Afsar walked out into the courtyard. She began to chant. A massive jinn, a colossal genie, formed from the shadows before her. It roared as it took shape, its voice shaking the ground. "What is your second command?" "Kill everyone in this house," Afsar commanded, "except for the girl. When you are done, bring her out to me. Then, level this house, raze it to the ground." "Are there slaves among them?" the jinn asked. "No, all of them are sorcerers, and they are drunk." The jinn let out a deafening roar and vanished. Afsar could hear the screams from inside as she waited. A few seconds later, the jinn reappeared, dropping Anmar at her feet. "One command remains," it said. "Then I will destroy the house." After Afsar and Anmar were clear, of course, Afsar scooped the girl into her arms. "Let's go home." With another teleportation spell, they were back at their doorstep. Nazanin and the other girls were waiting. The 4 of them rushed to Anmar and carried her inside. Once Afsar was sure Anmar was being cared for, she went back to her room, to the fire she had lit to warm herself. Nazanin knocked and asked to enter. "What happened, Auntie?" "We were deceived by that damned sorcerer," Afsar replied. "They did what they wanted to my girl's body. But I left him as minced meat for the worms and leveled his house to the ground." Nazanin was silent. She went to the girl's room and found Anmar asleep, her wounds cleaned. Artemis was sitting by her side, crying silently, heartbroken over what those men had done. Nazanin approached and stroked her head. "Don't cry. Auntie got her revenge." "And what good is that now?" Artemis whispered back, choked with tears. "After they tortured her and scarred her body and face with burns." "We are a coven of witches, Artemis," Nazanin said softly. "This is not strange to us, nor to our way of life. In time you will understand my words, and you will accept them." "Why did she have to go to them in the first place?" Nazanin quickly covered her mouth. "Hush. Do not ever say those words, especially not in front of Afsar. The auntie's requests are orders. We don't have the right to refuse or to question because she knows what's best for us." Nazanin left Artemis alone with Anmar and went to the courtyard. The other girls, Jarira and Mernas, were sitting by a fountain, talking about what happened. Nazanin cut them off. "Enough! It's over! The auntie avenged Anmar," Jarira scoffed. "If the auntie had sent me, this never would have happened. Anmar doesn't know how to handle men." The moon was full that night, the sky almost clear, but the air was freezing. "The sky is beautiful tonight," Nazanin said. Artemis replied, "The best part of the night is its middle, and the best part of the morning is its beginning." "How did you leave Anmar?" Nazanin asked. "The same, crying in pain." "That girl is weak," Jarira said. "She's not fit to be in our coven." "Of course she is," Nazanin snapped back. "She was ambushed by a group of sorcerers. None of us could have faced them all." Mernas spoke up. "Girls, have you noticed something? It's not like the auntie to stay in her room on a full moon night. This is a first. Usually she would be outside, watching it." "She's probably just upset about what happened to Anmar," Nazanin said. "Impossible," Mernas replied. "There's something else going on." Their debate was cut short by Afsar's voice calling from her room. Come, girls, I have something for you. Gather around. The girls went to her room. Sit, she told them. When they were seated, she said, the time has come. Nazanin looked at her. Do you mean? Afsar nodded. Yes, the very thing that crossed your mind. It is time for revenge. Time to travel to Arabistan.